So presentation is COVID-19. So coming to the SARS per se, I want to tell in this diagram about the different membrane proteins that is there. Spike glycoprotein with the nucleocapsid, the genomic and enveloped small membrane protein, because most of the drugs,
voice is breaking.
So most of the drugs that is involved in the COVID-19, especially with the audible, sir?
The voice is okay now, sir.
It's breaking.
So this virus has a similar has a structure that's similar to HIV, different spread. So I deal about strictly Ritonavir and Lopinavir. So in this diagram,
hello, yeah, the voice is still breaking. I was just wondering if Matthew should turn off his phone. Just let's try.
Vimi, get too close to the mic.
Is it echoing or breaking?
Breaking. Breaking / echoing, both.
Mechanism of action. So now is it breaking, sir?
No.
Okay.
Not so far. Go ahead.
So the structure of this virus has some similarity with the HIV virus, and in the HIV the process where there is a protein synthesis and processing is where the protease inhibitors is being blocked. So the specific enzyme that is involved in the blockage is called aspartyl protease. So this is the process from where the blockage by protease inhibitor acts, so that further packaging and assembly is being inhibited further. So there is less viral release. So with this background, I'll just go briefly about what are the different therapeutics in COVID-19. So it is briefly divided into 6 types. First is an immunomodulators like hydroxychloroquine, and second is a protease inhibitors like Ritonavir and Lopinavir, and the next is nucleoside analogs like Favipiravir and Remdesivir, and the different host agents like interferon alpha 2A or 2B, and the newly available, which is still not gone beyond phase 2 trial, are Arbidol, and the newly and the recent new drug that is being recently being studied in PJ Chandigarh as so briefly, so it causes the aspartyl protease, so that further viral packaging and release is inhibited. So in this, there are 2 drugs I'm going to say. First is Lopinavir and next is Ritonavir. So the idea of putting up the the enzymes on the right side is it's because of the cytochrome P450 involvement. So the metabolism is of the Lopinavir is predominantly in the liver, and the side effect of Lopinavir, it's predominantly the nausea, vomiting, and neuropathy, and it has caused disturbance in the glucose and lipid metabolism, leading to hyperglycemia and hypercholesteremia. As the Ritonavir has a cytochrome P450 inhibitors, it enhances the drug level of Lopinavir. So that is the idea of why we are combining the Ritonavir along with the Lopinavir. Now, before the COVID-19, we were predominantly using this drug for 2 diseases, out of which One, there is a clear-cut RCT, especially for SARS. However, for MERS, the RCT analysis is still awaited. So I'll be briefly describing the presentation about the trials before the COVID era, what are the evidences, and what are the evidences in the COVID era as per the current papers. So this is the journal that is published in Thorax, where it is about the role of Lopinavir and Ritonavir in the treatment of SARS and the different virological clinical finding. So it is based on the SARS that happened in 2003, and this is published in Thorax in 2004. So it's an open label, non-randomized study where they have used 41 cases versus the control is 111. And the baseline regimen for both ribavirin and steroids were given. The point to notice in the when we are using the Lopinavir, they have done the in vitro antiviral susceptibility, and they have found the MIC. So this was done for at 2 different intervals, and they have found that the MIC for ribavirin is 50 microgram as compared to Lopinavir with 4. So they were knowing that after the 5 days of starting the drug, what is MIC? So what is the optimum drug level that can cause the viral inhibition was known. So what they found out was there is an improved 21-day clinical outcome for the patient who was given the Lopinavir Ritonavir. That is the 28% was this is a slightly different because it's not the this adverse outcome is a personally written. So better clinical outcome was is the first value, and 28 was the adverse outcome. So this is slightly different. I mean, it's not correctly written. Another outcome what they found was there is a reduction in the steroid dosages and the decrease in viral load. However, we are not sure of the statistical significance, which is not mentioned in the paper. So next is about the Middle East respiratory syndrome, where this drug was used. However, this is the first article that is being published from Saudi Arabia, where the disease was first noted. However, then the trial is called the Miracle trial. So it is a recursive 2-stage group sequential placebo-controlled double-blind trial, and it had a primary and secondary endpoint. However, only 13 patients were enrolled, and they stopped the analysis after 13 patients, and the analysis of that is still awaited. Now we'll come to what are the evidence we have currently about this drug. So this is the article that is published in NEGM, which is an open label RCT with 1:1 randomization. So they have compared the Lopinavir Ritonavir group with the standard care group, and the study was for about a month. And they used a clinical monitoring that is called 7-point ordinary scale based on whether they are hospitalized, whether they require the oxygen therapy, etc. So they found that there is no change in the primary outcome, and the primary outcome was time to clinical improvement. However, there are some change in some advantage in the secondary outcome, like lesser 28-day mortality and shorter stay in ICU, and decrease in the duration from randomization to hospital discharge. However, the predominant side effect that is observed in the Lopinavir Ritonavir group was the gastric side effect, and the other serious side effect in the other placebo like ARDs was in the other arm. Now we come to other RCT. This is called Eloquoid trial, which is being this is the RCT from China. So what they have done is they have divided the groups into 3. So one group received Lopinavir Ritonavir, one group received the hemaggluteinase inhibitor like Arbidol, and one is a control group. And the randomization is 2:2:1. However, they used only in mild or moderate COVID patient. And what they found at the end of the study was the above drug did not shorten of positive to negative conversion or produce any clinical or radiological improvement. And other major disadvantage that they found was 15% of the patient out of the 86 progressed to severe COVID status, and 8 was from the Lopinavir Ritonavir group and 3 from the Arbidol group. This is another retrospective study where they have it is a 135 hospitalized patients were analyzed, and all the patient has radiological features of COVID-19 in terms of bilateral infiltrate, and they only the idea was they were giving for all the 135 Lopinavir Ritonavir and antibacterial to 43%, steroid in 23%, and they are given traditional Chinese medicine also in 90%. And all the patients were divided into 2 groups, and predominantly it was in the mild cases and severe cases. However, in the analysis, 1 died among the severe group. The limitation was it was a small sample size, and the study ended when the patient is still hospitalized. And other advantage what they were saying is if the Lopinavir and Ritonavir was given early, there is it is better in terms of in a mild to moderate cohort. However, in the severe cohort, there is no evidence. But the problem with the study is they have used also the Chinese medicine, so we don't know what contributed in what level, and so that is a flaws with the study. So as per March 2020, this was the CDC recommendation about the COVID-19. There is no FDA approval for Remdesivir. However, it's recently changed, and the FDA doesn't approve Lopinavir or Ritonavir, and corticosteroids should be avoided unless indicated for other reasons. Now, recently the ICMR has come with a recommendation, and this is the conjoint statement from ICMR along with AIMS. So what they recommend is it should be used for laboratory confirmed patient who is symptomatic and severe cases. However, this is not based on any Indian RCT. It is from the RCT which is also which I mentioned earlier, and predominantly it is from the NEGM. So they are telling that this is the schedule that ICMRs want to put forward. That is, all patient at baseline will have an LFT, RFT, and PCR, and every alternate day will have an LFT, RFT, and every 3 days will have a PCR for COVID-19. So conclusion is, as of now, the ICMR is recommending only for symptomatic severe COVID-19 patient. As per the papers, there is no change in mortality. However, there is some evidence of earlier clinical improvement. There is no change in conversion rate before or after therapy.